cherish all the time you spend. You tuned in to. It's time again to cherish all the time you spend. You tuned in to. It's the number one podcast. The topics of discussion when we broadcast. So all them artificial man jokes, we do it natural from the concrete to a public standpoint. Real, wherever you're from, life is coexistence, but to know the real, you just gotta listen. Wherever you're from, life is coexistence, but to know the real.
What's up, everybody, and welcome to the 52 Scott Podcast. I'm your host, K Money, and in the building with me, my co-host Slash, Freddie G, and Comedian 96. Collectively, we are the Mind of Men. You can find us on X, formerly known as Twitter, at 52 Scott Podcast, Instagram and Facebook, the 52 Scott Podcast, and if you're on YouTube, don't forget to like and or subscribe. Welcome, fellas, to another True Tuesday episode. I figured, fellas, we wouldn't be doing our due diligence if we didn't discuss the Donald Trump guilty verdict on 34 counts of felony charges. And those charges being from relating to falsifying business records and payments made to dope film actress Stormy Daniels. And just, I was elated once I heard the news. I'm not gonna lie, I was extremely excited, right? Because I just thought immediately this would eliminate him from becoming possibly the next president. Mm-hmm. And then, the next day when I'm watching the news, I found out that, this wasn't a roadblock, it possibly is a roadblock, but this obstacle may not deter him from becoming our next president, which had me wondering and thinking how fucked up the justice system is.
It is.
Wait, hold on. Stop, scratch, pause. You mean to tell me after being found guilty, he still can be president?
After being found guilty on 34 counts,
so I'm happy for
felony
nothing.
Charges, he still may become president of the United States.
He can also be a president of the United States in custody, in a prison. Yeah, you can be a president from a prison.
Now that part I didn't know.
So mother ucker, I hate to say, I ain't put the F on it, but a mother ucker can't vote. But you can still be a president, and you can
with a felony charge.
Boy, what kind of?
Yeah, it's crazy.
Well, I mean, he's already proven when he won the last election. He said things that you wouldn't think one running for president would say.
Right.
And just the lies that he was caught in, mm-hmm. and you still see that he was still elected. The 45th president. Mm-hmm. So this just goes to show that. It's still the window of opportunity is not closed for him to still be the next president of the United States, which is scary,
right?
Because again, if we elect a president that has been convicted on 34 counts, it's not like this is just one or two accounts.
Yeah, this is 34.
34 charges. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, not 3 or 4. This is 34, and they still. Okay, Freddie G.
And these are federal charges.
I gotta ask Freddie G. He's the voice of reason on this show. Can just a regular dude just out of jail, can he run for president?
Yeah.
Anybody can run.
Anybody can run for president. You can even be incarcerated, man. Anybody
but why can't they vote? What's the difference between you can run, you could be the actual president, but you can't vote? What kind of sense does that make in some states?
The voting, they leave it up to the states, and so in some states you can vote with a felony. And so it's just all up to how that state governs.
That is crazy.
The polls didn't drop at all once that guilty verdict came out. Or if it did drop, he was still leading the Republican nomination, or he was the head candidate, mm-hmm. After this verdict came out, So I know there's a debate that's scheduled to go down on June 27th, which I'm sure this will draw a lot of attention. It might be one of the most talked about events, just like the what's the fight coming up with Tyson?
Tyson and I
feel like this would be a hot topic and a great debate that folks are going to watch. And
Mike Tyson Punch Out, that's what I call it, because that's the actual game. I don't know if you remember, but the actors look
I
just
do recall
alike.
it. But I can imagine, Joe Biden has all the material that he needs to really do a lot of damage in this debate, in my opinion.
He can really assassinate him. I mean, not literally, but just politically wise.
Yeah, he's provided them with so much ammunition.
Campaigning.
He use it wisely and strategically.
Yeah.
And I think he
can demolish him if he wanted.
You talking about in the debate?
Yeah.
Well, you got to think with the debate, man. Yeah, that's the low hanging fruit. Bro. Let me demolish you with what's going on with you in court. But you got to think that they have a moderator.
True.
And so that moderator, they ask questions, and then they have to debate upon the questions that are being asked. And most of the questions that are being asked has a lot to do with how to run the country. Could be dealing with tariffs in regards to trade,
right,
and all that stuff. So the moderator would be asking questions. So I don't know how much ammunition Biden would have just to throw at him about what's going on with him around this hush money, because I don't even think that will even come into play during the debate.
I think it will. I mean, I've seen Trump in previous debates, and he definitely didn't go along with the moderator. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah, but here's the thing.
I feel like they should beat him at his own game before he gets beat.
Democrats ain't like that.
Well, facts.
They're not like that. They're not like that.
But I want to piggyback on that because I've seen previous debates with Trump, and whatever the moderator asks, he'll go after his opponent.
Yeah, that's
from the question that the moderator asked. He'll go after.
Check it out. But here's the thing: he's the first president, for the most part, to do something like that. So he's going off script. I mean, when you going off script like that, that tells me you really ain't. You don't know what the fuck going on.
Yeah, you
just want to talk, and you know that a lot of people think about it. From YouTubing to whatever, people love drama, and people flock to that.
Right.
So, and if you into that kind of stuff, he's gonna keep throwing jabs at and calling names, Crooked Joe, and all of that stuff. What that has to do with anything? You know, he even made a point to say, when we debate, let's do it standing up. Because Joe older than he is, but come on, man. What does that have? What does that have to do with anything?
Nothing.
So a person like Donald Trump will do that.
Yeah, that's him.
Well, a lot of folks are finding that entertaining. You know, one being myself. You know, because some of the cracks are definitely low blows, but not one that you would expect someone of his stature to be making on that type of platform. You know what I'm saying?
Well, you know what? Prior to him running for president, you wouldn't think that. But I expect that from him.
From Donald Trump.
From Donald Trump. And here's the thing. Yeah, it could be entertaining to hear him speak like that. But talk to me and let me know how you going to run this damn country, how I'm going to get more money in my pocket, how it's going to help my family. Those are the issues that I want to know about.
And see, that's my point. In the last election, the one that he won, he approached the debates talking that crazy shit as if he was like Comedian 96. And he still was elected, you know what I'm saying? And that's what's scary. He still had enough people that he got their attention.
You know why? I'm sorry to cut you off, but you know why? Because always as far back as the hip-hop community, they make lyrics about how much money he got. We were fascinated with Donald Trump's money, and we figured that because he was so-called a shrewd businessman, a good businessman, he can run the country like a business.
Right.
So we as a people, we were duped into thinking that shit, not knowing that this motherfucker was a racist. His father was a racist. In Florida, they had a bullshit ass hotel or whatever the hell. I mean, apartment complex where they didn't want Asians and blacks and all that to live in. See, we wasn't looking at all that shit.
So you think that's going to factor in on this election?
No, because you got more fucked up people in the U.S. like Trump.
Yep. He's not lying. Why you think he letting?
He winning because you got more fucked up people who think like him.
Right.
Yep.
Right.
And it shows now.
Let me show you some shit, man. I get passionate about shit like this, right? Let me show you something. This ain't no shot at Republicans. This ain't no shot at Democrats or none of that shit.
Right.
Right? But when you got a motherfucker like Trump spewing out all of this rhetoric that he does, right? And he talks about people's families.
Right.
He talk about how ugly people are. He talk about people's health. All that shit, right? And you still got people backing him, a la Ted Cruz. Right. This man talked about your wife and how ugly she is and whatever. This man talked about your family. And you kissing his ass.
Yeah.
It's cold.
I mean, really, man, come on.
Yeah.
It's a cold lick.
He does have plans to appeal. You guys think he has a chance on this appeal? I mean, I know
34 counts.
Some of them may. Some of those. Well, I can't even say some, and I know he won't be able to beat all 34 counts or be able to appeal.
Man, I'm gonna tell you what I think is gonna happen. I think it's gonna stall because they're gonna keep resetting.
Yep.
I think it's gonna stall. I also think that because it's gonna stall up to the election and all that stuff to see what turns out.
So stalling doesn't favor him, though, right?
I think it does.
It does.
I think it does because there's a good chance he may be your next president of the United States.
It's giving him the opportunity.
And the man is 77 years old. And he got the potential to, if he wins the election, he I wasn't even thinking on that line. So he's 77 years old. And he's stalling. It can be stalled in regards to the election. Let's say he's elected. It's going to be put on the back burner because now he got to run the country. Mm-hmm. And when these his attorneys or whatever filing these motions and everything to reset, that's going to go on for years. The average reset, man, when you're doing that is probably like 3 months. That's 90 days.
Mm-hmm. Okay, correct me. And he's already been convicted, correct?
Mm-hmm.
So what's being reset is the appeal.
No, so he's already been convicted, right?
Right.
Now, he got a chance to appeal, but once you're convicted, you got to be sentenced.
Right, which
so
is the next phase.
Yeah,
right,
so you can actually set a motion to reset.
Oh, so that's what you're saying is going to be
and
reset.
Once you set a motion to reset, most of the time, the average motion to reset is the attorneys be asking for 90 days. That's 3 months. If you get 4 90-day resets, that's a whole year.
A whole year.
Now, couple that with him running for president, right? Oh, let me file a motion to reset. Why do you want to reset? I want to reset because my client is running for president. He has to do this, blah, blah, blah. And besides, I have another case over here, and I got to do all this. So the judge grants that, right? Now, let's say this man becomes president again. Mm-hmm. He's 77 years old. Give him 4 years. Mm-hmm. He's 81. Mm-hmm. And if he's still kicking, you know he's going to run for president again. Mm-hmm. He got a potential to have another 4 years, which that's 8 years where this case has stalled. His sentencing has stalled. That's 8 years.
So that
man.
I understand a lot clearer now. I mean, I didn't understand. I'm thinking, that next phase as far as sentencing, was going to happen sooner than later, like next week type of shit.
That's
that
what
they can reset that.
It's supposedly to be set for next week or 2 weeks, something.
Man, I don't think that's going to go through. I think they're going to reset it.
I think this is my thought, and this is just opinionated. I agree with you on the resetting strategy. I think they're going to keep resetting it, right? I think just say he gets into the office, which, like you said, is a lot of fucked up people out here. He gets into office. I think once he gets in the office, it kind of favors the U.S. because now, if he gets in the office and he fucking up, they'll probably expedite that case and get him out of the office. I think so.
I don't think so.
You don't think so?
Not a sitting president. Yeah, sitting president. No,
you can't get him out after
you can't get him out. But
I don't think that they would.
You don't think they're gonna expedite that court case if he's fucking up the country? They ain't gonna expedite that court, gets 34 counts and try to get him out.
I think if he's elected president, that gives him more power.
But
and then
not with the courts though. I mean, he has power, but he can't stop his own. I don't think he could stop.
He would have more power than what he has now, I would think.
The only issue I think with that is if he were convicted, or let's just say put in prison, and do a presidential term in prison. The only thing that he cannot do on his own, black and white wise, would be pardon himself.
If he's president,
right? That's going to be up to the federal judges and stuff like that to decide whether they're going to pardon him out. And I'm pretty sure it's a vote that they probably have to do. But his type of money can change that situation, because I know he's pretty well known for buying his way out of stuff.
Well, you mentioning
allegedly, probably.
You mentioned jail time. How likely, fellas, do you think that's possible?
You know what? I kind of feel like
34 counts.
I think it's possible, man. And the only reason I say this is because he's got charges coming up in Atlanta also. Now, what Atlanta has in place in that state is they can take your previous cases somewhere else that you were charged with and use it in this case as leverage to give you the maximum sentence there in Atlanta.
Oh, wow.
So he's facing that coming up in Atlanta also. So I think it's pretty possible that he may serve some prison time.
And that's why I say I think it'll play. It works for the United States. I think if the country's doing well, they probably don't do nothing. They just keep resetting it. But if he effing up and it's not going away, I think they expedite his court case.
If he fucking up while president,
yes,
that's gonna hurt.
Yeah, then I think they can expedite their case to get him out. You know what I'm saying? So it's like
kind of a catch-22.
Yeah, I was just gonna say the same exact thing.
Which is something that the state.
Shit, he was
You know,
fucking
I
up the
think
country.
this works for if he gets. I think it works. I think he honestly, if he don't make it, I think he gets charged. If he does make it and he does good with the United States, he'll still get charged, but probably after his first 4 term. I don't think he'll get that next term. That's just my opinion. If he does good, he'll make it through 4. If he doesn't, say maybe the second year, around the second year or so, they'll start expediting that case.
In your opinion,
that's just my opinion.
The last term that he served, how do you think he did?
Man,
I mean, I'm just
terrible.
asking.
I mean, I think it was a bad term.
I think I also agree that it was a bad term, but we found out who he really was.
Who really he was.
You know, like Freddie G said earlier, people forgot about the racism. Mm-hmm. But every time he opened his mouth about anything black people, it was a racist statement made near it somewhere.
Only president I know can get away with slap him in the pussy and still stay president and not even go.
Man, let me tell you something now. Listeners, you can't see what I'm doing with my hands, but for our listeners who are from Houston and you're familiar with the Third Ward community, I'm currently throwing up a sign that shows Third Ward, right? Now, this sign, what Trump used to do when he has his conferences and stuff, or when he's speaking to the masses, he would always throw this sign up. Well, this sign is a racist sign that's directed in regards to the Proud Boys. Mm-hmm. And so he would also say stuff, throw code messages out there. Of course, we can't prove that it's actual coding, code words. But when you say stuff like, hey, y'all just stand down, stuff like that, man.
Right.
Come on, man. And then before you know it, here it is, the January 6th riot. So when you using these gestures with your hand, but we can't actually prove that you were throwing these kind of signals, and you're using code words, that's fucked up. Bottom line, it's fucked up. It's
kind of
and it's in your face where there's smoke, there's fire.
He's doing it right in our face,
and it's kind of their own society that understands what's going on.
I mean, come on, man. Where there's smoke, there's fire. Let me show you something. The Stormy Daniels, right? Cohen, that's his former attorney.
Correct.
Right? They was funneling money through him with the hush money and all that stuff, and he was giving the money to Stormy or whatever the case may be. Now, you got all of these checks with Donald Trump's signatures on it, and they hiding it and doing what they have to do to keep everything to keep everything on the hush. Man, those jurors went back there and took all of that evidence that was given. And at the end of the day, these are my words, but I'm sure they was like, you know what? There's a lot of smoke here, but we can't see the fire. There's a lot of smoke, but we can't see the fire. Now, we all got common sense to know that If you see something smoking and you can't see the fire, you know it's something over there on fire.
It's something on fire. Yep.
So I think that's what's up with Donald Trump. Everybody in the United States with eyes and ears see smoke. Here's the smoke. We see a racist president. Smoke. We see a president who don't give a damn about blacks. I guess that's all the same thing. Racist. Smoke. We see a president that looks very selfish. Smoke. We see a president that's unpresidential with all of the name calling and all that stuff. Very disrespectful. Smoke.
Right.
Man, do you want this dude who running your country? We see a president that befriend dictatorship.
So what you saying we see now, we didn't see before that first election he won. Not all of it anyway.
Not all of it.
But we see a hell of a lot more now.
There was smoke there. We were just, I'm going to tell you, little smoke was there, right?
Right.
But I believe that we as a country, we were so fixated on his billionaire status.
Right.
We were so fixated on how well of a businessman he appeared to be, and figured that, hey, when money is involved, everybody wants some extra money now. Well, maybe he can run this country better because we're broke here. We don't have no money, and we need to do all this stuff for our country, get some more money here. Maybe Donald Trump can run this country to make sure that our country is wealthy and getting money, and we all can get money. So we were fixated on this money, thinking that he can run this country.
So that's what they wanted us to do. But if I just want to make this statement, we know that there's a certain percentage of people that's going to choose who the president is. And if they want him there, they going to put him there, no matter what they use him to do to get their message out or get they wool pulled over your eyes. But they're gonna do it the way they want to do it. They're gonna make that last call.
Well, that's where the actual politics come in. You got your electoral colleges, right? Mm-hmm. That's where the actual politics come in, because at the end of the day, y'all heard me mention Ted Cruz for example. Man, if you are a Republican, and then you get these electoral votes and all this stuff to get you in or whatever, you can win the popular vote. That was proven with what's my man name? Al Gore. Mm-hmm. You can win the popular vote
and still
lose.
Yeah, facts. Fellas, put yourself in Donald Trump's shoes for a minute and just think if that was one of us that had been found guilty on 34 counts, how our lives would probably be fucked up.
I'm an innocent man. I haven't committed any crimes. This is what Trump was saying. He believes that hasn't done anything wrong. But if I put myself in his shoes, I'm guilty. Because some of the mayhem that caused or that happened around him and his actions has been really horrible for anybody to be running a country, the type of stuff that he's doing.
We could have been found guilty on just one.
Right.
And our life would
Had
have
it
been
been
fucked
us.
up.
But more than likely, I'll probably get found guilty on about 34 of those 34.
But then too, man, think about what he does, man. He's found guilty. And what do? Now, you go out and make a mockery of the court. Now, here's the thing. I don't think he would have been doing that. See, you got to hear the unspoken words. I don't think he would have, after every court session, he'll come out in press conference. Right. Mm-hmm. Your average Joe wouldn't be able to do that, number one. Number two, I think he did that, and he's kind of making a mockery of the court because of the judge, a Democratic judge. What if that was a Republican judge? Would you have went out and made a mockery of the court? Oh, this is a sham, and the court's and this. You're talking shit about the court.
Typical Donald Trump.
Yeah, you're talking shit about the court. I think that if it was a Republican judge, I don't think he would have been coming out making a mockery of the court.
Well, probably not, because he'd probably be friends with the Republican judge.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. These judges, these federal judges, they're handpicked by the president.
Exactly.
Right. Totally understandable. Well, the future, what the future holds for the ex-45th president of the United States is to be remains to be unseen. You know, I definitely hope he does, serve some type of time. I really can't see us electing a convicted president. But, a lot of stranger shit has happened in the past. I just pray everybody get out and do their civic duty by voting when it's time, and we keep this man out of office. I appreciate y'all for joining us. Make sure y'all grab that transfer to catch tomorrow's show. Peace. This concludes another True Tuesday episode, and be sure you tune in tomorrow for another episode of Women Wednesday with Freddie G. Don't forget to follow us on X, formerly known as Twitter, at 52 Sky Podcast, Instagram and Facebook, The 52 Sky Podcast, and if you're on YouTube, don't forget to like and or subscribe. And to all my 52 Sky faithfuls, it may be new to you, but if you heard it here, then you know it's true.